So allow me to explain myself here to my current viewers who might want more of an explanation as to what this post means, and for new viewers who are wondering what the hell is wrong with me. I recently bought $2,000-ish, just a little under that figure, worth of used iPad. And if you can't already tell, a lot of content on this channel is iPad based. Number one, because the content does well. I don't decide that. The algorithm just for some reason pushed an iPad video that I posted last July, and so far that has been a staple of this channel. I love the form factor. People love it too. It's kind of a unifying piece of technology. Apple really does dominate the tablet market, and I'm kind of segueing into why I bought these tablets. Now, the reason is not everybody can buy a brand new iPad Pro, a brand new iPad Air, or iPad Mini, and they look to budget iPads just like people look to budget phones. For example, like people are still buying the iPhone 8 and the iPhone 10 and, the iPhone 10s, even though the iPhone 11 and 11 Pro exist. I may cover a lot of new iPad, particularly iPad Pro, and that does well, but I want to start covering more budget-oriented iPad content and also cross-compare previous generations because they're still relevant. The processors within the iPad 6th generation, iPad 5th generation, the iPad Pro 10.5, for example, are still powerful. I was looking for A9 Plus processors, if you know what I mean, in the devices that I bought, and allow me to explain why I bought what I bought and how I plan on covering these products on my channel. So the site that I use to buy all my used iPads is Swappa.com, and no, this is not a sponsored video. I just like the way this site is set up, and I got some pretty good deals as well. And although I didn't have the best experience with this site the first time, I changed my strategy this go around. And if you saw my 5 dangers to buying used Apple products video, I talked about, how you could buy stuff. If you buy at the bottom of the barrel, right, from big conglomerates, you can expect some, I wouldn't say defects, but some bad qualities that may not have been listed. I actually bought a bricked 6th gen iPad, but I ended up getting my money back because of PayPal money back or buyer protection or whatever. So I was kind of upset about my first 2 purchases here, an iPhone 8 Plus without True Tone and an iPad 6th gen that was bricked. But this time I had a different strategy. If I didn't already say that, I bought from individuals rather than from conglomerates like Wisephone, ER, and Cell World. I bought from people like Paul and Jay and Nicholas, Derek, Cuban, Lulu, people who own these devices and that I could actually talk to one-on-one over email or with the comment system. So with that said, let's get into what I bought and why I bought it. So the first iPad that I picked up is a used iPad 5th generation. This was launched in 2017. I got a white 32 gig model Wi-Fi. And as you may know, this device was the first real entry-level iPad that sports the iPad Air design from 2013. It has the A9 processor, which is really the most outdated or the oldest processor I recommend buying as of right now, simply because of software support. While the A8X does perform in the iPad Air 2, I don't know, I just don't see it being supported in the near future. So I think this is the cheapest, oldest iPad I would recommend getting. I got it for $188, which is a decent price, a little bit cheaper than the 6th gen as of right now, and I think it's a pretty comparable price to how much you could find it on eBay or a local listing. And yeah, I think this is, once again, a great budget iPad option. You can find it for sub $200, and if you just want an iPad to do basic stuff like web surfing and texting, if you're buying this for an older person or just a person with simple needs, I think this is going to be a good iPad as of this year, maybe even to the next, and I definitely want to compare this to the 6th gen and the 7th gen respectively. The second iPad that I picked up is the original iPad Pro 12.9 inch from September of 2015. This packs an A9X. It supports the Apple Pencil 1st generation. It was launched with it, and I'm very excited to receive this because I want to see how well the A9X performs as of 2020, if it's still a viable option. And I definitely think it's going to be a good tablet for schoolwork and stuff, especially for people who want to take advantage of the humongous 12.9 inch display. This is really a huge iPad, even bigger than the 12.9 inch from 2018 because it has bigger bezels. But yeah, I got it for $330. I got a gold model, 32 gig, mainly because what I do with these iPads isn't super storage intensive. I don't anticipate video editing or doing anything intensive is going to be that great on here, even though the silicon is probably still viable. The A9X is still a decent processor. But yeah, I think it's going to be a great used budget option for people who want to have an iPad Pro setup for college, for example, especially if they're broke and they're busy paying off their student loans and other important things. No need to spend all that money if you can buy a sub $400 Apple Pencil plus iPad Pro setup. The third iPad that I bought probably is the one I'm most excited about, the iPad Pro 10.5 inch. It is the same form factor as the iPad Air 3. The only difference between it and the Air 3 is processor and display. This is a 120 hertz display. I remember envying people at my high school who had this because my school had an iPad-based curriculum. I had an Air 2, which was not a bad device, but people had this, and I just couldn't stop watching them taking notes with the first gen pencil on the beautiful 120 hertz display. It really is a great product. It still sells for a little bit here for $350, as you can see here, but it seems like a good deal. I got this off of a student who was selling this, so I decided to help him out and just buy this, and I'm really excited to use this and compare it to the Air 3 and the Pro 11 inch because, like I said, just like with the 12.9 inch first gen, because this plus maybe an Apple Pencil alternative or a used Apple Pencil seems like a great setup for somebody who doesn't have all this money to spend on a brand new iPad Pro and the Apple Pencil second gen. The fourth iPad that I bought is the iPad 6th gen. This is literally not that old, and it's basically the same thing as the 7th gen minus the 10.2 inch display. I got this previously, but I was kind of scammed. My iPad was brick, so I returned it and bought one from an individual once again rather than a conglomerate. As you may know, this has the A10 processor and a pretty decent 9.7 inch display. Still touts the 2013-ish design of the iPad Air, but yeah, this is also another great budget iPad option. My grandma actually has this. We bought one for her and she adores this to this day, and it's still a great device even for students because it does support the Apple Pencil first generation. But yeah, I got this for $220, so about $30 more than the 5th gen, but I honestly think it's worth it, the A9 over the A10. I think the A10 is probably substantially more powerful, it being quad core versus the A9 I believe being dual core, so I definitely will compare the 5th gen and the 6th gen just to see how much better the 6th gen is. But yeah, this is another great budget oriented device that I could honestly recommend over the 7th gen if you don't really care about a brand new and bigger display. The 5th iPad that I bought is the iPad Pro 9.7 inch, which was launched in springtime of 2016 with the A9X found in its 12.9 inch counterpart that was launched in the fall. It actually introduced a camera with a flash, so I'm excited to see how that performs as of 2020. And yeah, I think it's still a great device. It's small, it supports the Apple Pencil, and I got it for a pretty cool $250. So just around the price of a brand new 6th gen iPad if you can find one on the market, and maybe even the same price as a 7th gen on sale. So I'm anxious to see how the A9X in this performs or stacks up to the A10. It probably might even be equivalent in some ways, especially in regard to multi-core performance. But yeah, this seems to be a, once again, great budget device for students who want, you know, a little bit more out of their iPad with a better camera setup than you can find in the current 7th gen iPad. And this one also ships with a Logitech Smart Folio case, which I'm excited to test out as well. And the last iPad that I purchased is the one I am most excited about simply because I kind of took a risk. I bought a 2nd gen iPad Pro 12.9 inch 64 gig model that is apparently sealed, you know, never opened, which is, you know, kind of scary to me because this guy could have just randomly sealed it with some plastic he got, you know, special plastic. Maybe he's a pro at this, you know, maybe he's scamming me. I doubt it though. He has pretty good ratings, as you can see here, 35-star ratings here, which are legitimate because he's an individual, not just some conglomerate, although he has 66 listings. So we'll see here. I am pretty positive that this is legit. I actually left a comment on his page here saying like, well, how do I know if you're not selling rock, LOL? And I ended up having my account suspended for a minute, so that was really scary. But once Swappa re-enabled my account after I had a heart attack, considering all the iPads that I ordered, I ended up buying this, and that's going to be a whole separate video. So I plan on doing a part 2 where I unbox these iPads all together. Like I'll say something like, you know, the $2,000 used iPad unboxing, although I will save the unboxing of this iPad for a separate video that will probably be titled buying a sealed iPad Pro 2017 on Swappa, Stealer Scam, or something clickbaity like that. So yeah, this is also a great iPad Pro alternative if you want the 12.9 inch. I bought a refurbished 12.9 inch 3rd gen for just around $900. This is $400 cheaper than that. It still has the 120 hertz display on here. It supports Apple Pencil first generation. So this should also be a great school-oriented device for somebody who doesn't want to spend all that money, especially when the 2020 iPad Pros come out. I will, of course, be comparing this to the 3rd gen and the 1st gen, and definitely the 4th gen. I might do like a 4-way iPad Pro 12.9 inch comparison, and I'm very excited for that. And that about wraps up this video here. I had actually planned to post a Motorola Razr review today, but I'm taking my time with it. I really do love the device, and I want to, you know, do it justice. I want to make a really high quality review, which you'll probably see sometime next week, probably around like Wednesday. I would really appreciate it if you leave a like on this video. Comment if you have any questions, suggestions, or opinions, and subscribe for more content like this. And as always, I'm Noah, and I will catch you all in the next one. And just to get me to the magical 10-minute mark, I just wanted to show anybody who gives a shit this lightsaber hilt that I just got. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and I bought this Darth Sidious hilt replica that can actually accommodate electronics. So I'm gonna try to put an actual like driver sound speaker in there and like an actual NeoPixel blade in here if you know anything about that. But for the meantime, I just have these buttons that aren't glued in right here and a PVC blade I bought at a local hardware store and wrapped with red tape that's still on my bed here. And you can see I have like this plastic lightsaber in the corner of my room. I have no shame. I love Star Wars and I love just whipping these around like a weirdo. But yeah, I love this blade. I think it's beautiful. And leave me a comment if you're equally as passionate.